Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I wanted to start a new series that I call What is this thing and why did I buy it? Because I have been asked that so many times by my friend Tracy. She's like, Lindsay, what is this thing and why did I buy it? And I thought that would be such a fun series. So today we're going to start by looking at this thing, the Stamping Gear. You might have one of these in your stash. It was quite a thing a few years ago when it came out. But then people just kind of forgot about it. And I thought this would actually be the perfect project for a birthday card I'm making for my daughter Lila, because I wanted to get this kind of like funky pattern going, and I thought we could explore this together and see how it works. So if you have this in your stash tucked away in a drawer somewhere, you don't know what to do with it, or even why you bought it, grab it out. Let's play. I'm also going to use some moldy oldies here. I'm going to use a couple rainbow ink pads. So if you have these, those are great because if you have these, you can actually re-ink any of those colors with whatever dye-based ink you have. So there's no need to throw these away unless they're like, you know, fraying and coming apart. I've had this for, oh man, probably decades, honestly, and they still work great, and they're a lot of fun to use. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it and make a pretty card. Now, these came in a variety of different kits. You could get a kit that just had like one little gear and one paddle, or you could get kits that had a bunch of frames to them. It, you know, just depended on what you wanted to buy and how much you wanted to spend, whether you wanted a deluxe kit or a smaller kit. These are little bits of foam, easy mount foam that I cut, so if I wanted to use an unmounted stamp or a clear stamp with these, I could. I still have the directions even. And what I want to do is actually use one of the stamp sets that were from the Inkadingadoo Stamping Gear. I think I'm going to use this one here because I want to make kind of a funky hippie type of background. But I kept all my stamps and everything that came with it here because I thought they would work the best. All right, I'm going to set that aside. I have got the stamp set here. I've got some cardstock and a cushioned base. And basically, I'm going to try to get a decent 5x7 design. So I actually want to work on a larger piece of paper that I can trim down. And I think that probably just the small round paddle or maybe the small oval paddle would do pretty well. Now the thing is, I'm going to lose a lot of space in the middle if I use this because of how big the gear is. So, but I do have a big focal point stamp I'm going to use in the middle. I've got this happy birthday word block that I want to use that I'll stamp on another piece of paper. We're also going to use this thing here. Remember, I don't know if you ever had one of these, but this is a Mega Mount from Impression Obsession, which is just wonderful for detailed stamps. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on that supply if anybody's interested. The other thing you could use is you could use one of these frames and actually stamp on the inside of it. So that's something else that's also an option. I think I'm just going to go with this. And let's see, it's been a while since I've used this. I actually have a piece of foam on here because I was probably using it with a clear stamp the last time I used it. And I'm going to set this little gear up so that I've got the little points pointing at each end, because I'm not sure if I will want to stamp on each of the spots or not. So then I'm going to put this little stamp right on my paddle. I'm going to put it right next to the little point there and see how far out that's going to go. All right, so the key will be not moving this gear. And I think the reason this didn't really get that popular was because there was a lot of, frustration with things moving and it just being kind of fiddly. So I'm going to use this rainbow pad here that's got some nice kind of purpley colors in it. It still seems to be pretty juicy. I hope so, because I'm experimenting right along with you. So you got to get that paddle in there and you got to stamp straight down. All right, oh, that worked pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do every paddle here. Isn't that cool? When I saw this thing advertised, before it was going to come out, it was like advertised for the, you know, Creativation, or it was actually CHA at the time. I couldn't wait. I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on that tool. That's going to be so much fun. And then AC Moore carried it, and as soon as I saw AC Moore was going to have it, I went out and I bought the deluxe set. And I don't know, I think I maybe made a scrapbook page and a couple of cards, and that was about it. But, you know, it's actually really fun. It just is a little more time consuming than just like stamping one thing. And I think maybe that is what kept me from using it. So here, it's really good if you have a table or something that you can, where you can like kind of stand up and work, because, I'm gonna turn my ink pad around, so hopefully I don't ink it up backwards. And I think it was this fiddliness of it that was its downfall. Oh, now look at that. I must not have stamped exactly straight down, because look, I've got that weird thing going there. Oh well, that's all right. It's handmade, right? It's handmade. It's made with love. I'm sending this off to my daughter in college. Okay, so I can leave this right where it is, and I can put another stamp on there if I want. So let me wipe this off, and let's see if I have something, maybe something kind of small that I could put like that. I think that will look pretty. Try not to move that thing. All right, so let's clean off our block. You know what I need to do? I need to put this, let's put that like that. I'll clean off my stamp later, but I'm just going to wipe off the ink off my block. I don't want to get it wet, because like if I used a baby wipe or if I used my stamp cleaning spray, chances are I would... Wait a minute, what am I doing? No, Lindsay, geez, give it the program. I gotta go this way. There we go. So I'm going to pick that up like that, and I'm going to stamp in the darker. I'm going to ink up in this darker section here. And, oop, I got ink on the point. I don't know if that's really going to harm anything, but let's just wipe it away to be safe. And now I will go around this way. Oh, shoot, that's the one I just did. Darn it. Oh, good, I didn't. What? So I went there. Oh, okay, yeah, it's going to spread them out more, because I don't know if I like this. But I think you just gotta commit. How many of you guys are doing? Let me know in the comments below if you have this tool, please. And let me know also if you are stamping along with me. I think part of what I really liked about the premise of this is that you don't really know what you're going to get. You know, it's kind of like doing a little spiral graph or something. You don't exactly know what you're going to get. But I think that also is kind of a little frustrating for people, because, you know, especially with all the time that you could put into one of these, to not exactly know. I'm going to spin this around. Hopefully I'm not too loud in your ears. I'm standing up, which makes my face right next to the microphone. I'm getting ink all over my stamping gear too. Well, this one looks like a pineapple. I feel like I'm making a big pineapple or something. One more. I think it's right there. Okay. So why not? Let's do another one. Let's put another one in. Let's do this other little guy. Maybe like that. I don't know. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see. I think it's gonna come out cute. I think you just keep layering until you're happy with the way it's going. Okay, and I'm gonna go. We'll go kind of in the pink areas here. Oops. My daughter loves kind of like batik designs, kind of hippie prints. So I'm hoping that's what I'll end up with here. Kind of reminds me, did I do that one? I think so. Kind of reminds me of a doily. If you had a bigger stamp, you could skip. You could skip every, like, do every other one or something. Did I go there yet? I think I have one more to do. Do I? I think so. All right. Okay, so we've used 3 different stamps. I think that looks pretty cute. And all right, so we've got a design there. That's kind of pretty, I think. All right, so I want to trim this. You know what I should have done? I should have made a mark of, I want to trim this. I want it to be somewhat symmetrical, but, oh, if you have these pads when you go to store, and pull the rainbow apart so that you don't end up getting ink where you don't want it. But you know what? I got this paper trimmer here, and I think it'll be pretty easy to trim, to figure out how I want to trim this. Get my little arm out. I love this trimmer. They don't make this particular one anymore. Actually, they still make the design, but it's now like a different color. It's now like kind of a light grayish color. So let's see. I'm doing a 5x7 card. So maybe I'll cut down. Let's see. That's, let's go. Let's cut it to, I'll cut 7.5 here. Would that be about right? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to have to... Oh, but I want it to be around 6 probably. I don't know. I'm just going to start trimming and see what I end up with, I think. So that's going to give me 7. But I want it a little bit smaller. So... yeah, it's like when I trim this down to a rectangle, wait a minute, 5x7, so I want at least 4x6. That's too far. I'm going to have to trim. Sorry for the math, guys. I'll trim a little bit more off the other side. Or I could even go 6.5. No, I can't do 6.5 because I already... Let me go for 4x6. Actually, that's what I'm going to aim for. So there's some waste, but you can use a waste to decorate the inside of your cards. So, actually, if I could figure out what the middle point was... yeah, let's see. So I think it's going to be, if I did about... well, I'll try for right about there, because I know I'll need to trim it a little bit more, but that way. Yeah, because I don't, oh, look at that. It's going to like go to, make it about equal. Okay, let me eyeball it. Trim a little bit. Oh, it doesn't, it could be a little off center actually. Sometimes you get kind of precious. It's like, oh, I don't know how much I want to trim off that. It's kind of pretty. Okay, let's see if I bring this side to 4. What's that going to be? That's a little too much. I know, isn't this frustrating to watch? Lindsay working out some math in her head. Now trim it right at 4. Okay, but it's a lot of work for that panel. I can see why this product, it feels like I've trimmed it too small, but I can save these little scraps or something else. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's kind of a lot of work. So I want to add some more color into the background. I like that there's that, oh, that kind of cream color. Oh, maybe I should have left that a little bit bigger, but oh well, no worries. I think I want to use... oh, I got some VersaFine Clear because I thought it might be kind of fun to stamp the sentiment on this paper, trim it out, and emboss it, or emboss it before I trim it. So what I'm going to do is actually ink it up with these VersaFine Clear colors, and I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder so that I can clear emboss it as soon as I'm ready. And I'm also going to grab some newsprint, if I have it handy, I do, so that when I'm ready to, I can put it right back into the jar, because I don't like to waste embossing powder. And that's a great thing about embossing powder. You never have to waste it. So this is my folded paper, just so I have it handy for the embossing. And I've got Twilight, which is kind of like a navy blue. I've got Medieval Blue, which is kind of like a royal blue. I've got Monarch, which is kind of like a royal purple. And I've got Purple Delight, which is kind of an orchid color. And I'm just going to start, I think I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. This color, this ink is so nice for when you want a really nice sentiment. It's so crisp and it's so, so opaque. And then I'm going to do this one last. I don't use it too often. It's really nice for embossing though. Okay, now I'm going to look. It looks like I have a really good coverage everywhere, I hope. Actually, like maybe right here it's a little bit lacking. There. All right, and with a mount like this, you actually just kind of roll it on the paper. And it gives you really good coverage with unmounted stamps. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That stamp is by Purple Onion Designs. It may still be available. I've had it for a few years, but I don't think they retired their stamps as often as a lot of the companies do. So Purple Onion Designs. I'll try to remember to link it up if I can find it. I'm not an affiliate with them or anything. Oh, I didn't whatchamacallit, I didn't use that embossing pouch on this. I'm just going to brush away some loose powder that I see. Got a little ink smoogie. Alright, let's pour this back into our container to use again next time. Alright, so now I'm going to just heat emboss that. This is not the best tool for heat embossing, but it does the trick. It does work. This is the Ranger Heat It tool. They no longer make it in white. It's now in black, but there are more powerful embossing tools. But I use this a lot for drying my watercolor paper, so it's just really handy to have. Heat up the tool for a few seconds before you bring it to your project, and that will just reduce the time that it takes to melt it, and also reduce your chance of scorching your paper, because if you overheat embossing powder, it will go from shiny back to dull, and it can even scorch and discolor your paper. This is not a super hot tool, so it shouldn't, but you never know. So as soon as you start seeing it go shiny, you really just want to move it. This is such a pretty stamp. Oh yeah, you probably shouldn't do the heat embossing right on top of your cutting mat because you can warp it. Alright, I think I got that. Now the VersaFine Clear ink does dry much quicker than other pigment inks, but you can always heat set it if you're not sure if it's dried well or not. You do have nice straight edges, so you could cut it out with scissors just by eyeballing it fairly easily, but since I've got my paper trimmer here, I'm just gonna take advantage of that fact and use that. You can also heat emboss this, use clear ink and just use white, and that would be really pretty, because then you could like watercolor over it if you did it on like a smooth watercolor paper, and that would be really, really pretty and festive. You could use like Brusho or another pigment powder as well. Oh shoot. You know what? I need to do this the other way because it wasn't enough to hang on to for me. Sometimes you just gotta try and get a sliver off the edge. It's better to have the, well, it's probably always a good idea to have the good part underneath your cutting bar. So you can press down with your fingers and give it some pressure. Oh, isn't that pretty? I think that's really lovely. Okay, now we're gonna go back to this. I did not do the best job of cutting an even border, so I might have to go in and recut that edge, make it a little bit smaller. And then I think I'm also going to find maybe some navy blue as a matting layer. I think that would be really pretty. So I'll be right back with those items done. All right, I have a change of plans. I actually thought that it might be fun to actually do some foil. And I found these colors of foil, and I thought that this, actually this teal would look really cool with that. And then I found a couple ink pads that were kind of tealish. These 3 colors, and then I also have a couple purple colors. So what I'm going to do is grab my scrap paper again and grab some of these scraps that I have from trim-offs and see what they look like with different colors. So let me grab my blending brushes. Oh my word, can I be more disorganized on this this tutorial? I don't know. Look at my desk, it's already a mess. Let's try some of these colors and see. Maybe I'll use these little blenders. These were so cheap on Amazon. I think they're even cheaper now. So first let's try this Ocean Spray color and let's see what that looks like. Oh, I like that a lot. Ooh, I really like that one. Okay, I like that. And actually it's really close to that teal. That would be, I think that would be really cute. All right. Boy, you know what? Maybe I'll just go with that. I like that. I'm just going to go with that. I don't need to try every color. Sometimes when you're making cards, just grab the first thing that works. The one thing I don't like about these is that it's kind of hard to get the little things back in there. Okay, so I'm just going to go with that. I like that. I might switch to a larger brush though, just because I don't know. I think this might take a while. Yeah, let's go with a bigger brush. Let's see. Oh, it's kind of dirty. Do I have a clean one? Yeah, I think that'll work nicely. I'll start it in the center and see how it looks though, so I don't. Sometimes you got to do that, guys. This brush was, I think I got it at a stamp show. It wasn't, it's not any brand in particular. I think it's just some generic makeup brush that a stamp company was selling. Because, you know, I think they're all basically the same. Get whatever you like best. Okay. Alright, now you could flick on some water. The Prism pads, like the Distress pads, have that water reactability. I think I might do a little bit of this, one of these colors right on the edge though. Let's test them out. I'll use a small one. I think the small ones will work good for that. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty. That looks pretty up against the, heck, let's go with it. We don't need to try every ink pad we have to get the perfect shade. Go for one that just, that works. And we put so much pressure on ourselves, and we make crafting way more difficult than it needs to be. The reason I want to go in with this, with a different color, is because I'm going to do that teal, and I think it will help it pop a little bit, although I'm curious about that other color. Since I already have it out, it's not like I'm going back to the drawer for it or anything. Oh yeah, I think that'll be lovely. These small brushes are really nice for edging. I kind of bought them, and then was kind of like, I don't know, not doing cards. I've had enough of cards. But wait, let me buy a new tool that I'll never use. So it's nice to use it. I'm making cards because my inventory is all at at the shop. But it's actually, I do like to make cards for my kids on their birthdays because then it's something special. It's just for them. It's not just a generic card that I made with nobody in mind. It's made it with them in mind. So I do like to do that. Okay, that's pretty. I want a little bit more of that darker color, I think. And for like the blending brushes, I generally will have one for each color family. So like this would be for like reddish purples. I have another one for like more bluish purples, just kind of so I don't have to have a ton of brushes. I don't dedicate a brush or sponge to every single color. That would be a bit much for me to manage. Now let me just see how those colors look together. So this is, yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, I think I do want to flick some water on there. I got a little jar with some water here. I'm going to grab a paintbrush. I'll let it set for a few seconds so that it can reactivate the ink, and then we'll just blot it with a paper towel. Probably not going to be super, hope I'm not getting the camera, it's probably not going to be super strong because there's not a lot of contrast. We're on cream paper. I don't even know if this paper is really that reactive. Oh yeah, it does. It looks fine. Oh, I love it. It makes it look kind of old. The way that looks. That's pretty. It's pretty subtle, but I think it looks nice. So I'm going to set that aside to dry for a few minutes. We could dry it with the heat tool, but we got other things to do, so let's get on to that. So now what I want to do is add some foil to this card base. So, like that. Let's curl right up. I'm trying not to smudge ink on it. Alright, we're going to do this foil. And one of, I'm not real big into the foiling. I never got one of those machines to do it. I mean, I do have a laminator, but you know, it's just not my thing. It's a lot of, it just seems like a lot of work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a border with tape. I'm going to try to go about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Don't press down hard. And I'm going to just see if that covers, if that's going to cover it all the way up. Oh, is it? It is going to leave a little bit of a gap. And can I deal with that gap or? It's going to leave a little bit of a gap, but you know what? I think what I'll do is, I think I'll go with it and maybe even add a matting panel to that to give it a little bit more structural. This is going to go in a package, a care package, birthday package to my daughter, so I don't care if it's a little bit too, if it's a little too thick or heavy or anything, so it's going to go in a priority mail package. All right, I need a knife. And I'm just going to cut off the tape at about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And peel off the excess. And then I'll do it again. It does want to pull at the, maybe I'll cut it in at a little bit of a angle. It does want to peel at the cardstock, so that's why I said don't press down. That one's alright, I think. Alright, now we can press it down. Yeah, I think I'll end up matting, just adding a little matting layer to that. Maybe gold or something. 18th birthday. We can use some nice gold cardstock, even if just a little bit's going to show, because that's a pretty monumental birthday. Looks sticky and hard to see. Fabulous. Just eyeballing it. Kind of feels crooked, but I don't think it is. And then I'll cut off the edges again that stick out beyond. Where our tape is. So again, with your knife, try not to touch the tape that's there that you've uncovered already, because you want to make sure there's nothing going to take the, it's going to weaken the adhesive. And before you remove the backing, make sure you've picked off if there's any adhesive left. That one was just about perfect right there. All right, so now let's try foiling on this. Oh, press that down. Burnish it down good with your fingers. Oh gosh. Try not to deform the tape. You could use a needle tool, like a pokey tool, to get that up. All right. So foil goes down with the colored side up. I'm wondering if I should cut this into strips, but hopefully, you know what, I'm going to go this way, I think. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go this way, I guess. Oh, I kind of like the distressed look. Don't worry if it skips some places, because we can fill in. In fact, let me just trim that off and we can, oh, I kind of like that distressed look. Oh man, my scissors are sticky. Hold on. I got a bunch of foil. I don't know if it was on clearance or on sale or what, but it's probably on sale. But I never did much with it. It really didn't. I'm not a big fan of fiddly, friggy crafts. Probably why I haven't used the stamping gear too often. I like that distressed look, so I think I might leave it purposely imperfect. Except you got to be careful, because it will still be sticky if there's no foil on it. So you don't want to leave any big areas with no foil. This is a heat foil, actually. Meant to use with the Mink laminator machine, but it works really well with adhesive too. So I find that most foils will work with adhesive. Okay, I like the way that looks. That's pretty. Hopefully it's not too sticky. All right, let's just see what our background looks like if we were just to lay that on top of there. Actually, that looks pretty good. Although I do think a little yellow would be really cute. A little like gold. I think I will trim this even closer, and I think I will take some gold cardstock and matte both of these. So let me go cut some mats and I'll be right back. All right, I matted both of those with some shimmer gold pearl cardstock, and I'm going to just use some double-sided tape, and a fair amount of it, because anytime I've done like a background where I've flicked it with water or done anything like that, I like to make sure I have plenty of adhesive. put that right straight down there. I'm going to have to get my head in the way, so I apologize. Just make sure it's lined up pretty well. And then I'm going to use foam tape on the focal point here. This is a pretty thin foam tape. I don't know if they still make it or not. It was from Simon Says Stamp many years ago. It's really thin, which I like because if you are sending it in an envelope, it shouldn't require extra postage or cause any problems. And you can tear it, so you don't have to get your scissors sticky. I hate sticky scissors. And I'm just going to put that on there like that. It's a pretty simple card. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that we spent as much time as we did on it, but nevertheless, I think it's cute. I'm just going to go through any place I feel like I want a little more foil, or if it feels sticky, I can fill it in. You could also add some lines in the inside of your card and press some foil into it, but there you go. If you've got that stamping gear at home, you can give that a try, and I hope you enjoyed this card making tutorial. I know it was pretty simple, probably nothing earth-shattering, but it was a lot of fun, and I think my daughter's going to love her birthday card. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!